Hi, this is Kimberly Wilson, and I wanted to show you my favorite yin pose, and I thought doing a video may be helpful to kind of bring to life what I talk about in the daybook and in 52 Weeks of Tranquility. So the yin practice is a little different than a typical yoga practice in that we work to get into the connective tissue rather than the muscles. And the idea, the theory behind it, is that energetically, it's like getting into the different kind of chi points that you would also be tapping into with acupuncture. So it's like acupuncture without the needles. That's the whole theory. So it's getting into all these different meridians. I love to do it weekly, and I do a few poses every day that just feel really, really good. And the great thing is this is available for most bodies. You don't have to be someone who typically practices yoga to do the yin practice. So this pose, butterfly, you're going to bring the soles of your feet together. And then, traditionally in yoga, we have the heels drawn all the way up towards the body. Instead, with this one, what we're going to do is have more of a diamond shape here. Now, those of you who feel a little snug and you may find that you're already kind of rounding in the lower back, what you can do is sit on the edge of block. So I've got a cork block that is like my favorite thing, or even a meditation cushion. And if you don't have something like this lying around, a pillow is great too, or even a pillow from your couch. All right, so these are two things that can help for those of you who, when you come into this pose, it just feels like not so comfortable. All right, so the thing about yin too is we typically round the spine, whereas in traditional yoga, we're always looking for a nice straight spine. So with this pose, what we're gonna do is drop the chin to the chest and roll forward. So again, it is a rounded spine. Some of you will hang right here. Others will keep going, and maybe others a bit further. So with this practice too, I like to have something to rest my head on. And so I'll often have this block nearby as like a little headrest to drop my forehead onto. And this is a pose that you're going to hang out in for a few minutes. Now, if you find when you're in the pose, it just doesn't quite feel comfortable, adjust as you need to. Also, sometimes having a pillow under your knees can be helpful to kind of reduce any tension that might be happening in the hips. So just set yourself up in a way that feels most comfortable. And so for me, what I find is I've got a little something going on in my hip flexor. So sometimes I like to have just a little support underneath my right knee. And again, it's a rounded spine and we're resting here. And as you're resting here, the idea is to notice your breath, notice your body, forego planning, rehashing, reminiscing, and see if you can drop in to the pose. And this is a pose you can hold for 1, 3, 5 minutes. So this is really my go-to. I love butterfly pose, and I tend to do it in the morning when I'm pretty stiff, or even at night before bed. So just a reminder, it's a diamond shape, so heels aren't drawn all the way up as they normally are. It's more like you've got this little shape. It's a rounded spine, chin to chest. And the idea with yin practice, it's called and considered a quiet practice. So it's about holding, dropping in, and softening. And one other pose that I'll show that I also like is just a wide leg straddle. So with this one, you open your feet nice and wide, and it's similar to the same kind of rounding motion that we just did in butterfly. And we roll forward. So it's called Dragonfly, I believe in yin. And so again, here, this might be plenty. You may stay here. Your legs don't have to be active. In a typical class, we're like, flex the feet, draw the toes back, nice and active. This is more like, just let them kind of hang as they need to. And then, if you'd like, you come forward. So I like to have something to rest on. So this is where you could have a meditation cushion or a bolster. And again, resting here, you release the chin to the chest. So that gives a nice stretch in the back of the neck. And you can hang here, again, 1, 3, 5 minutes. Noticing your breath, relaxing through the shoulders, the jaw. And as your mind wanders, which it probably will because that's what minds do, see if you can bring it back to the breath and the body. And as you're ready, you roll back up. So I like to set, I have a little mindfulness timer on my phone that I like to set. It has beautiful chimes. So you could use a kitchen timer, you can use your smartphone, something so that you hold these poses for a set amount of time. Again, 1, 3, 5, you could do 2 or 4. You know, it's whatever feels best for you. You want to work to find your edge, that point where there's a bit of sensation, but we never want pain. And then at the end of every practice, it's always nice to relax down into a Savasana pose. So for that, we all know and probably love Savasana. Just releasing down onto your back, arms along the sides of the body, palms up. And you can stay here a few minutes to 15 or even 20. It's going to be nice to take a little midday Savasana. Feel the body softening. And as you're ready to come out, wiggle fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Draw your knees in. Roll to your right side and press up to a seated position. And if you can, keeping those eyes closed, or as you get into your seat, closing the eyes. And then just taking a few deep breaths here. And creating an intention for the rest of your day as you move forward and carrying this practice with you. Namaste.